How you doing, people? Will here once again for another Fight Club prediction. First of all, apologies for not getting this out when I said I was. I'm having a really tough time with YouTube at the minute. They are possibly going to be shutting down my channel. There's a whole thing going on with violence, and they don't like people talking about violence, which is so ridiculous at this point. I can't believe it's actually potentially going to lead to my channel getting taken down, because I'm not really talking about violence. I'm talking about fighting, which is absolutely bullshit. There's been other people whose channels have been suspended and then just completely blown out the water and not even having a channel anymore. There's people being banned from having a channel. So that's where, and they'll not let me upload some certain things. I received an email today regarding the channel. So I'm hoping that sense prevails and they will let me continue to have my YouTube channel, because it sucked after 5 years to have to kind of stop doing this, because I want to keep on doing it, but YouTube's kind of a little bit funny at the minute, and yeah, so apologies on that. But on the upside, this is a great card, and I'm really looking forward to talking about it. There's a lot of fun fights. It's a really good fight night card, in all honesty. So I'm going to get straight into it. As always, thank you for the support, the like, the comments. Last week was a great week, even though it was kind of iffy week for picks. But I got some more subscribers. We're not far off 1,500. Well, that's going to make a difference, considering I might not be around all that much longer. But thank you nonetheless. You guys are awesome. So let's just keep it going, because I've got a good feeling that I'm going to be staying around, but it's not in my hands anymore, I'm afraid. So yeah. Right, middleweight division. We've got Darren Stewart against Karl Roberson here. I like Karl Roberson a lot. I like seeing him on Dana White's show. There's fights out there on YouTube when he was in the kickboxing. Guy's nasty. Beat Ryan Spann in that show, and nasty elbows in the first round of that one there. Darren Stewart, guy from the UK over here. Felt a little bit sorry for him in his UFC debut, because I think he won that fight. There's no way that should have been changed to a no contest or whatever it was for something illegal. It wasn't illegal. He should have won that fight. And saying that, they rematched at UFC London, and Fancy Marbahos beat him fair and square. Darren Stewart did not look great, in my opinion, and now he's getting a really kind of tough test here against Roberson, who I like a lot. I really think he's a good fighter. Still fairly young in his career, but I like him in this one here. I think Darren's kind of been brought over to make this guy look good and potentially get a big finish. I like to see Darren do well, because from all intents, I've heard he's a really good guy. I watched him in Cage Warriors, and he's got a big pace about him, but I just don't think he can stop the power and the big shots that Karl Roberson can throw. So I'm going to pick Karl Roberson. I think I'm going to pick him maybe a first round knockout, maybe late in that first round there. So that is going to be the pick. Moving on to the light heavyweight division with Jake Collier against Marcel Fortuna. I saw the line for this. Marcel Fortuna's like -200 now. I know Jake Collier, in all honesty, is not the greatest fighter you're ever going to see, but he does start off very well. He's kind of one of those fighters who trades wins and losses in the UFC, and I just think Fortuna, he's kind of been blown up a little bit. I'm not sure he should be a -200 really against anybody. Like I say, Collier is not great, but he's a solid all-around pro. If you're sticking around and winning fights in the UFC, you've got a little bit of metal about you to be sticking around and winning fights there. Fortuna is very, very good in the ground. He has got power. We've seen that in Anthony Hamilton fight now. Whether that's a big thing or not, considering what Anthony Hamilton is like right now, it's another thing altogether. So how do I see this fight going? I see it being a little bit sloppy. I see Jake starting off really quick, and then I see Marcel really taking over the fight as it goes along. I mean, Fortuna lost to Jordan Johnson, who's a really tough guy actually to face, because he's got good grappling, really good wrestling, and he's just a tough guy to face. He's actually kind of prospect at 205. That's just how weak 205 is. I'm going to go with Fortuna. I think if he just has to be careful early on. If the longer this fight goes, I think the more it actually suits him. So I think he'll look to make it dirty, put Collier on the fence, and just try and work for takedowns and try and use that ground game advantage, which I think he has, in all honesty. So Marcel Fortuna, I'm going to pick him via decision, maybe a late sub. In fact, I'm going to go for a submission. I'm going to go submission early round number 3. think he'll wear on Jake Collier, and Collier will break in the second, and I think he'll finish him in the third. So 4-2 is the pick there. Welterweight division with Court McGee against Sean Strickland. This is a good fight, a really fun-looking fight, where both guys really need a win. Court's coming off that loss to Ben Saunders back in January in Phoenix, and Sean Strickland's coming off that loss to Cameron Usman, where he kind of got beat up quite badly in that fight there. So I think Court is maybe seeing the end of his UFC days. I think they're coming. I think it's going to be coming soon where we won't see him in the UFC. But in saying that, he's a really, really tough guy, and he's overcome a lot of kind of life obstacles to be sticking around and just be a solid fight. I mean, his life story, when you actually go and look into the drug use and stuff, is huge. So he's already kind of won at life, really, to be sticking around after some of the heavy stuff that he did to his body and whatever. I think Sean Strickland's just a little bit cleaner fighter. As in clean with the strikes. But Court McGee is a grinder. He's a really tough guy to kind of stop in his tracks. Sean Strickland needs to try and pop that nice jab that he has. Kind of fight at distance now. I think they've got similar reaches here, maybe even the same reach, but Strickland kind of uses it a lot better than what Court McGee does. Court McGee kind of uses it to initiate clinches, to look for takedowns, where Strickland is just a straight pop you in the nose, try and move away, and then just try and outwork you. And I think that's where he's going to win this fight here. So Sean Strickland, for me, I don't think he finishes Court McGee, because Court's a really tough guy to actually put away. But I see maybe a 30-27 and 2 29-28. But wouldn't surprise me if Court McGee made it very, very, very close when it went to a split and he actually got the decision. So my pick's going to be Sean Strickland in that one. So I like him just a little bit more. I think he needs this win coming off that loss to Usman to kind of reassert himself in that welterweight division. So Sean Strickland is going to be my pick in that one there via decision. Moving on to Fox Sports 1 preliminary card. Starting off in the women's strawweight division, we have Angela Hill against Nina Ansaroff. Now, I've seen some people like really high on Angela Hill, and I don't know what they're looking at, because I don't see it, and I don't think I'll ever see it. I don't think she's really that good a fighter. I think she's gotten better. There's no doubt about it. But she's not going to be great. It baffles me that people think she can challenge. I've literally seen people on some forums and some people on Twitter say that Angela Hill can fight for a belt. You guys, whatever you guys are on, I want some of that, because I don't see it whatsoever. Nina Ansaroff, she's tough, and comes from a great camp, trains with great people, but she's not overly solid, and she's coming off a win over Jocelyn Jones-Lieberger, who retired from the sport clean after that, and she got a stoppage there in the third round. What Angela Hill does have is she has fairly decent striking. She can go hard for the 15 minutes. Can she stop the takedowns? I think she can. Maybe early on, maybe Nina can get her down, but I think she can get back to her feet and just kind of win with her striking. That's what I really think she's going to do here. She's going to win with her striking. She's definitely got faster hands. Nina is the bigger woman, though, so if she does get a hold of her, I think takedowns can be there, but I can see Angela Hill popping back up as well. That's always been her Achilles heel in the past before, is her grappling and her wrestling. But I think she is making improvements in that area to at least get back to her feet. And once it gets back to her feet, I think she's the faster, slicker striker with a faster, slicker striker, and she can put combinations together, add in leg kicks, and just move away and not get caught in the clinch. Early on, that's where she has to be very, very careful, because Nina will be strong and could muscle her about a little bit. But once it goes into 2 and 3, I start to like Angela Hill a little bit more. I do think she's actually been in there with the better fighters as well, and stuck around for the 15 minutes, like your Andrei fight. She was in there with Namajunas, who's she's the new champion in that strawweight division. I never saw that ever coming a thing. So I'm going to go Angela Hill. I'm going to go decision. And yeah, wouldn't surprise me if Nina wins though, but I feel more confident picking Angela Hill. Lightweight division, we have Super Sage Northcutt against Michel Quinones. Now, Sage Northcutt, actually a guy I don't mind watching, but as a fighter, I think he can quit. And I think we've seen that in the UFC already. He quit against Mickey Gall. He quit against Brian Barberena, in my opinion. Now, if you saw me last week, I wasn't too high in Mickey Gall. And in all fairness, Mickey Gall last week actually impressed me. The kid's a gamer, and will make improvements and win more fights in the UFC. I just thought Randy Brown was the better fight. It turned out to be so. He dominated rounds 1 and 3 to win that fight. But Sage Northcutt, I mean, Sage dropped him in that fight and never followed it up, and then took a shot and then quit. He quit, in my opinion. And once you have that quitter's mentality, I don't think it really ever leaves you. I don't think he's in there for the hard fight for which it can be. Like the fact he's went to Team Alpha Male, because he will be training with legit top guys there, former UFC champions, up-and-coming fighters. So he will be getting, and the coaches that they have there as well are really, really good. So Michel Quinones coming off that loss to Jared Gordon. This is predominantly going to be a striking match, and I think Sage, I think he can be taken out here, but possibly Sage could take him out as well. So I think it could be close in that aspect. I just don't think I can pick Sage Northcutt. I think Michel Quinones really doesn't have much grappling, but I think that he can possibly get takedowns in Sage Northcutt late in the fight. I think if he survives the initial barrage of what Sage brings to him here, I think he can definitely. I think he can win this fight, in all honesty. So initially I was going to pick Sage Northcutt. I just really don't think I can. I think, no, I can. I have to do it. He is like a really big underdog. It's Quinones. Like, I'm going back and forth on this because Sage Northcutt, I want to kind of be impressed with him, but I'm not really. Now, you know what? I'm going to go with Quinones. Quinones was my initial thought when this fight came out. I'm going to stick to my decision of staying with Quinones. I would actually like to see Sage just win a couple of fights, but I think he was well on his way to losing that Cody Fister fight before the ref jumped in. And like I've said before, he has a quitter's mentality. So Michel Quinones, if I'm going to pick him, I think he could potentially knock Sage Northcutt out. When Sage has one of those flurries when he comes forward, I think he could eat a shot. So the pick here is going to be Michel Quinones, TKO round number 2. I think it's going to stop him. Not overly confident in the pick, but I just feel more confident picking Quinones over Sage Northcutt. But as I say, I do like the fact that Sage has went to Team Alpha Male for this camp. But he's kind of going around. He's went to TriStar, he went to Rufus Sport, and he's been around. So, and I'm not sure what improvements he will make. I mean, he's young enough to make fast improvements, but I just don't think he'll make the big improvements to move further on in the UFC. But this might be his level where he beats guys like this who are relatively inexperienced at the UFC level. Now, he has the experience there, so he could win that. I just feel more confident picking Quinones here. So, and he's a big underdog, which really Sage Northcutt shouldn't really be that heavy a favourite over many people in the UFC. So I'll take the shot in underdog. So I'll go with Quinones via TKO in round number 2. Women's strawweight division, Tatiana Suarez against Viviane Pereira. I think this line's off as well. I really do. I haven't made any bets, and I am looking at a couple that I'll make. So I'm on vacation at my parents' home here, so I'm trying to chill out a little bit and spend some time with the family that I don't get to see very often. So I do think the line's off here. I don't think we've seen much out of Tatiana Suarez from what we've seen on the show and what we've seen outside of the show. When she won her only UFC fight, which was nearly 18 months ago, so that's a long time ago. She's had a big injury. I think she blew a knee out, if I remember right, reading about that. So what does she have that could really hurt Pereira here? I think she has a really destructive wrestling game where she can take you down and be like heavy on the ground, and she has a submission game. She really does. She has beautiful door strokes. There's videos on YouTube here where she's looking for submissions with like really creative submissions as well. But she's like that bulldog in your face, looking to take you down, looking to just beat your ass on the ground, and she can do that. Viviane Pereira has actually really impressed me. I think I've picked against her a couple of times. I've been not willing to kind of thinking she's actually that good, but she's actually really solid, and she's got a couple of UFC wins and impressive UFC wins as well. So I went over like Valerie Letourneau. Now I know she's like an old tooth in the game there, so she's been around a long time. But Jamie Moyle's a in-your-face fighter where she really took advantage of the kind of recklessness that she comes forward with, and just kind of mixed up the game and just was the better fighter. I think Viviane Pereira can win here. I think if she stops the initial barrage from Tatiana Suarez, stops getting taken down, if she stays on the feet, I think she has the advantage here. So with that being said, I think I'm going to pick Pereira. I think I'm going to pick her. Be a very close 29-28 decision. I think she's going to make it close. Maybe see Suarez coming out, getting those takedowns in round one, being dominant, and then maybe she doesn't know what to do when she's very rarely been into that late part of the fight. And I think if Pereira were to take her there, she can most definitely win the fight. Not downplaying Tatiana Suarez's talent or skill, because we really haven't seen that much of her, but like I said, we haven't seen that much out, and I think Pereira is tough enough to really gut this one out and give Suarez the toughest fight she's ever had in her career, especially her coming off a layoff as well. So I'm going to pick the underdog here in this one again. I think the line was like plus 200, which is crazy to me, considering how long Suarez has been out, and really we don't know an awful lot about her. Where we've seen Pereira's a tough girl. She sticks around and she can ride out a hard fight. So I'm going to go with Viviane Pereira there. I think it's going to be close. So it's a close split decision win there for Pereira. Moving on to the bantamweights, your main fight of the prelims here, we have John Dodson against Marlon Moraes. Tough start for Marlon Moraes in the UFC. Raphael was a tough out for anybody in that division, and went to a split. Looked decent against a really tough guy, and but like I said, Assuncao is a tough out in that bantamweight division. I think with this one here, I think Dodson's just going to be a little bit too quick for him now. He's coming off a really bad fight against was it Eddie Wineland? Yeah, Eddie Wineland is. So he's coming off like a bad performance where he really didn't let go of his hands and he used his speed all that much. I think in this one he has to, because Moraes will be throwing leg kicks, looking to work him, kind of coming in quick and trying to hurt him when they're trying to exchange. But Dodson, I think, being the faster fighter, that game plan coming out of Jackson Winks as well, I think that, and the speed that he has, I don't think Moraes has faced anybody really as quick as what John Dodson is. He's very quick and he's very powerful as well. I think people forget just how powerful John Dodson is. But I just think it's another tough fight for Marlon Moraes. I'd like to see him win the fight, because I think Dodson can sometimes just not fight up to the level which he can. John Dodson is definitely going to be my pick here. I'm going to pick. I can see him maybe getting. I think it's going to be like another Assuncao fight where it's going to be close, but Dodson is just going to do enough. So 29-28 decision victory there for John Dodson. Not confident though, I'll be honest with you. That's going to go on my least confident picks, because I rate Moraes. I think I thought he should have got an easy. Now I know he's coming over from World Series of Fights where he won everything over there. Assuncao's a tough fight. I thought he might have got an easier fight here, but Dodson's a tough out again. So we'll see. Hopefully he's learned. Hopefully his kind of nerves are a lot better, and he'll settle into the fight a lot quicker and make it very competitive. Would like to see actually Marlon win, but Dodson, I've just got a feeling he's going to be a little bit too fast and just win a kind of close decision. So John Dodson for the win there. Moving on to the main card, two staples of the UFC lightweight division for the longest time. Joe Lauzon against Clay the Carpenter. Guida is next on deck here. I think this is Clay Guida's fight to win. I really do. I think that Joe Lauzon has one round in him where he can go really hard, and he will try and take you out. He will do anything he can regarding takedowns, looking for submissions, but we've seen in his fights that he is gassing badly. And there's fights that he's won that he shouldn't have won, like the Marcin Held fight was a fight that Marcin Held really should have got the decision in. Stevie Ray, there was people saying he should have got the decision against Stevie Ray. I think it could have actually been a draw. I think that's probably where I'm kind of leaning more to. And the Jim Miller fight, he probably should have won that one as well. So I think it's around a bust for Joe Lauzon. I think that Guida has more in the tank and he can stick around. He's a really tough guy to finish, is Clay Guida. Very versatile on the ground, got really good wrestling, great grappling, great control. And I mean, Tavares lost. He didn't look great in that one. The Ortega fight, I thought he looked decent in against the guy who is clearly talented, but doesn't put it all together for the entire fight. When he puts it together, he wins fights and he wins spectacular, like he did in that one there. And came off, I think he was a big dog in the Eric Koch fight, but Koch's out for a long time. He's always got an injury and he's been out for a long time, so that rust there. And against a guy like Clay Guida, who really never has that rust, he could be out a long time and probably still be the guy that he always is, in your face, looking to get takedowns, be grimy. And that's how I think it's going to go here. But in saying that, if he does get through round one, I do see him being a favourite to win the fight. But he has to be careful because Joe Lauzon does have submissions and he can get them probably at opportune moments as well. So he needs to watch where he's putting his head. He needs to watch where he's angling with his body because he could get swept and then submitted from there. So feel more confident in Clay Guida, but Joe Lauzon is dangerous early on. But I'm going to pick Clay Guida via decision. Really good fight this. I'm looking forward to this as I rate both guys pretty highly. Raphael Assuncao against Matthew Lopez. Now, initially when I heard this fight and I watched some of the fights there over the last 2 weeks or so, initially I like Matthew Lopez. I think he's I think he could be a really good fight in this division. I think he's got really good grappling. But I think this is one of the toughest fights in the division, actually, against, if you're a grappler, Assuncao. I actually really like watching Assuncao fight. It's just, I love solid all-around fighters who are decent on their feet, decent on the ground, and just literally just solid as can be. And that's what Assuncao is. I mean, I think he's only lost to TJ Dillashaw in the UFC. Says everything. TJ Dillashaw now has the belt, which sucks to say for me because I'm a Cody Garbrandt fan, but it's what it is. He came back after that knockdown last week and then knocked out Cody, so fair dues to that guy, respect. I wanted to go with Matthew Lopez, and he's a big underdog in this one, but then you got to remember who he's against, and in close fights, he seems to get the decisions. He got the one over TJ in the past. He got the Sterling one, which I think was justified, but it wouldn't surprise me if Sterling had that fight either. Lopez is a really good grappler, really good wrestler, and can control you down there. I mean, he beat Mitch Gagnon, went to Brazil. I think he knocked out Johnny Eduardo. So he's maybe starting to put it all together with his striking a little bit. He's not going to ever get to the level what his wrestling is, but I think he can get takedowns here. But I don't think he can keep Assuncao there. Assuncao has really good hips, and can pivot away from them as well. If you watch some of these fights, he's got really good, he places his feet in really good parts where he doesn't get taken down, and he can move his hips very, very quickly. So I want to pick Matthew Lopez, but I can't do it against Assuncao because he's so solid. But in DraftKings, I'll probably be playing a little bit of Matthew Lopez because I think he can. If he gets takedowns, he can accumulate some points. And I think he's very cheap in there, 7,000 or 6,800. I can't remember. I only had an initial look earlier on. But I'm going to pick a 29-28 decision for Raphael Assuncao there. Middleweight division with Nate Marquardt against Cezar Ferreira. I think Nate Marquardt is well and truly in his way out of the UFC. I think he's been around for 2005, 2004. So he's been around for 12, 13 years. He's been around a hell of a long time. He's fought the who's who. He's fought for titles. He went out to UFC, won a title in Strikeforce, and looked decent over there. And then returned to the UFC, and it's just been a little bit of a damp squib. A little bit. He's lost to Vitor Belfort, Sam Alvey, Thiago Santos. They got knocked out down in Brazil. Kelvin Gastelum. So he's losing to a decent guy like Tavares, Gastelum, Santos to an aspect is fairly decent. Don't rate Sam Alvey, but and Vitor is Vitor. He could have maybe actually won that fight, but I thought Vitor got it. With his wins over CB Dollaway, who never really see Tandem McCrory's not with the company anymore. James DeHuna, he's retired. So, but in saying that, Cezar Ferreira is actually fairly chinny, but he's working away now to disguise that chin where he gets hits with big shots. And I think if he survives early, he can. He's a big dude, as Cezar Ferreira, really like stocky guy, well built, and very good in the ground. But it's interesting here because I can probably see Marquardt catching Ferreira with something, but I'm not confident in picking Nate Marquardt. There's nothing to show me with his recent fights that he can land that shot, put Cezar Ferreira down, because I think Ferreira is finding ways to protect his chin. And that's to try and grapple and try and control. I think he can do that as well. So he's coming off loss as well as Cezar Ferreira. He lost to Elias Theodoro. Theodoro does what Theodoro always usually does, and that's kind of stifle and win fights through decisions there. And he did that back in Halifax, I think it was, earlier on this year. But before that, he had wins over Jack Hermansson, which Jack's tough. He did what he did there and got the submission. Anthony Smith, he's won a couple of fights in the UFC recently, so he's moving up. And Bambosi, that's nothing really to write home about. But more confident picking Ferreira here. I think he can actually, if he gets this to the ground, he can submit him. So I'm going to pick a submission victory, maybe late round 2, early round number 3 for Muchanche, Cezar Ferreira. It's going to be one there, a submission. I'm going to go late. In fact, I'm going to go early round number 3 there for Mutanch. Heavyweight division with Andrei Arlovski against Junior Albini. I'm not going to pick Andrei Arlovski. I think he's shot. I think he's not for me. He's went to American Top Team, which I like, but like I was saying last week with Johnny Hendricks, you don't go to these super camps this late on in your career, and I think it's just a little bit too late. I mean, his last win was UFC 191 against Frank Mir, and since then he's lost to Miocic, Overeem, there's somebody else in there. I know Ngannou, and he lost last time out to Tybura. Josh Barnett, that's who the other guy was there. He lost via submission, and he's been stopped 4 of those 5 fights as well. I can't pick him here, but the thing is with Junior Albini, we really don't know a hell of a lot. We saw him against Timothy Johnson, come in there and he knocked him out. I thought Tim Johnson was going to wrestle with this guy. Turned out that he just ran through Timothy Johnson really quick. But I'm finding it just hard to pick Andrei Arlovski. I mean, his initial run when he came back to the UFC was fairly, and really enjoyed that. Knocking out Travis Brown and knocking out Bigfoot, and then beating Frank Mir, whatever event that was. So, yeah, I think Albini's just going to outlast Arlovski a little bit, and I think that Arlovski's chin, the first kind of good strike that Albini throws and lands on the chin, I think he can put the pit bull down. So I'm going to pick Junior Albini. It's going to be a knockout. Let's go round 1. I'll go round 1 knockout for Junior Albini there. Co-main event of the night. 2 guys, which I think this will be the last fight. I know Matt Brown has said this is going to be his last fight, and I think that this is going to be Diego Sanchez's swan song in the UFC. I think it's time for him to possibly step away. He's taking big shots. He's getting knocked out now. His chin's going. He's not going to change his game up, and he's moving up to welterweight against bigger guys again. So I think you know where I'm going with this one. I've said every video that Diego Sanchez fights on, he is my favourite fighter of all time. Back in the day, this dude was crazy, like really crazy. I remember being there for the Clay Guida fight in Vegas. Absolutely nuts. I was there at the BJ Penn fight when he fought for the title. So I've been a big fan of Diego for the longest time, but I think when you look at a definition of a short fighter, I think Takanori Gomi is a short fighter. I think Diego Sanchez is not as far down as that, but he's getting to that stage now where he's getting knocked out every fight. So I really want him to step away, go and enjoy his family time, and just be the dude that he is. Just a crazy dude who loves his family, loves working out, and so on and so on. But I mean, he got leg kicked to death by Ricardo Lamas then at 145, and beat Jim Miller, which I picked that one. I thought he could outgrind Jim, and he did. I thought he could beat Joe Lauzon, but he got knocked out in the first round. Marcin Held did. That was a fight kind of really tailor-made for him. He was in Mexico at elevation. He could break Marcin Held. Once Marcin Held couldn't get the takedown, it's only going to be one win on that fight, and it showed. Ali Akinda came back and really knocked the chin clean off him. So I want him to step away from the sport. I can't pick him to win this fight because I'd look stupid just picking him in this spot here. Matt Brown, I mean, he was having a really solid fight with Cowboy Cerrone, and then got caught with the head kick that put him down. But he's been one of the funnest fighters to watch, but he's lost 5 of his last 6 as well, with the only win being over Tim Means at UFC 189 a few years ago, which is crazy that was his last win. But you look at the guys he's lost to: Lawler, Hendricks, Maya, Ellenberger. He should have beat Ellenberger, man. He's so soft to the body. That's something Diego might want to try and be opportunistic on and try and jump him through that, but I don't think he can. I don't think he has the power to put Matt Brown down. And let's say he was doing very, very good in that fight with Cerrone, but just got caught. So I'm hoping this is going to be an all-out war, back and forth brawl, which these guys are known for. But I think Brown's going to be the bigger guy. I think he's faster with the hands, and just probably a little bit tougher at this point. Diego Sanchez has been one of the toughest fighters in the UFC, but that durability is starting to go, and once that starts going, you need to step away. So if hopefully this fight doesn't end where he gets brutally knocked out and he loses more brain cells, which he's already losing. I'm praying for a Diego Sanchez win. I would love a Diego Sanchez win and walk away with a win. I can't pick it. I just can't pick him to win this fight here. So Matt Brown's going to be the pick. I'm going to pick him to knock out Diego Sanchez. I'm going to pick him to knock him out second round. I'm going to go a second round TQ victory there for Matt Brown, and hopefully both guys can go and enjoy their families and enjoy their time and what they did in the sport, because they gave us really exciting fights for many, many years. And the main event is one that I hate because I'm such a huge fan of both guys, but I'm also a really big fan of the matchup. So Dustin Poirier against Anthony Showtime Pettis is our main event here in Northcutt, Virginia. And yeah, really, really, really good fight. And I've struggled with this one as well. If you were on the live streams with me last week, I initially was edging Pettis. I flip-flopped on that, and I'm actually going to go with Dustin Poirier here. It's interesting because if this fight was 3 rounds, I'd probably favour Anthony Pettis. But over 5 rounds, I think I actually like Dustin Poirier a little bit more. I like his toughness a little bit more. The one thing I don't like with Poirier, and it showed in the Alvarez fight after he hurt him, was he gets very reckless sometimes, and he comes forward and he gets clipped with shots. I thought he was well on the way to winning that Alvarez fight. He hurt Eddie, started engaging, hit him with a huge left hand that actually initially started putting Eddie against the cage and unloading shots, and Eddie was swinging back. I thought he was on his way to winning that fight, and then that fight he should have. I really do think he should have won that fight, but Eddie Alvarez threw a couple of illegal knees, and I think it changed to no contest. I think that was the fight to put together, was him v Eddie, but Eddie went on to do tough with Justin Gaethje, which turned out that's going to be a great fight, him and Gaethje versus Alvarez. So, and then him getting matched up here with Anthony Pettis. Now, Anthony Pettis is a guy that you all know I'm a huge Pettis fan, but I'm not going to say he's done, but I think there's certain matchups in that division that he can't win. I think this is one that he can win, but I mean, he got knocked out. He lost a split decision, to Eddie Alvarez. This is where I can see Poirier maybe going with this one, kind of like the Joseph Duffy route, is initiate the striking earlier on, see what counter striking that Pettis is going to throw. Because Pettis, I don't think he'll be the aggressor in the fight. It's always going to be Dustin Poirier. So he's going to look to pot shot from kind of long range, body kicks, head kicks, maybe leg kicks. I think that's what his game plan is going to be. Where I think Poirier's going to want to come in and grapple here. I've got that funny feeling he's going to want to do that. Now you have to be careful with Pettis because he can catch you with submissions, i.e. the Gilbert Melendez fight. He can switch. He can catch you from nowhere, like the Benson Henderson fight. So you have to be very, very careful against Anthony Pettis. But see, I've struggled with this one. Whoever I'm going to pick. Well, I'm going to pick Poirier. I'm not overly confident. I think it's. I've seen people betting him as an underdog. I think it's a good play. I don't think I can do it, because maybe Anthony Pettis comes out here, beats the elite counter striker, and just picks at Dustin Poirier, stops the takedowns and picks at him over the 5 rounds. I don't think. I was impressed with the Jim Miller performance, but Jim Miller is so durable. His durability is like through the roof, and he was catching Miller with big shots, and he wasn't really hurting as much as I thought he would. Yeah, it's interesting here because I don't want to see either guy lose. I'm a really big fan, but I think Dustin Poirier is in the better position right now to move forward and win bigger fights in this division, which is something I wouldn't say a couple of years ago, because Anthony Pettis, I think, is still a big fight, a big name in that lightweight division, but he needs to show it. He hasn't got the hype he once has. The game, I think, is maybe starting to pass him by a little bit, which is tough to say as a fan of his. But I think it's the truth. So hopefully I'm wrong here. He's putting in the work. And I mean, the one thing I don't like as well, in between fights, he blows up so much, does Anthony. Like, he gets huge. And yeah, I feel Dustin Poirier is the pick here. But I say that's a tough pick for me because, like I've said 5 times already, I'm a massive fan of both guys, and especially Anthony Pettis. But that's where I'm going to lean in this one. I'm going to pick a kind of grappling-based decision win for Dustin Poirier. But if the guy gets reckless and walks into a shot, he could be in a lot of trouble. So Dustin Poirier, I think I'm going to pick a 5-round decision win for him, maybe like a 49-46. I think it'll be entertaining, but I think that he will initiate and get takedowns and stay out of submissions. But I don't know whether that's a little bit of a bum pick, because can he stop him? I think he can, but I don't see it. And I'm maybe just giving Pettis too much respect here, just because I am a fan of his, but it is what it is. I'm going to pick Poirier. Poirier's the pick. Decision doesn't really matter to me all that much. I just think that he will win the fight. So that is my picks for UFC Fight Night 120 from Norfolk, Virginia. I'm going to do a live stream when I get home on Thursday, talking about some DraftKings things and just upcoming fights. We're moving on next week to Australia with Fabrizio Verdum against Marcin Tybura down there in Sydney, where I'm just having a look at the card there. Joanne Calderwood's on there, so I'm instantly going to be interested in that fight. Theodoro Dan Kelly, Bilal Muhammad, Tim Means is a great fight. So Alexander Volkanovski, I'm looking forward to seeing him again. But outside that, there's nothing great. But that's my picks here for UFC Fight Night 120. Be back for UFC Fight Night 121 next week. Until then, people, enjoy the fight card this week. Keep on supporting. You are doing great. You're really being awesome with me. So keep it going and tell some new people, and we can chat some fights. And I'll be back very soon. So take care. All the best and enjoy the fights.